All right, so I've not been studying or practicing penmanship at all for the past 4 months. I haven't posted any videos on the topic here on YouTube. I haven't posted anything on Instagram. The only time I really write, a true traditional American penmanship hand is when I respond to letters that I get to my P.O. box, and those kind of pile up. I get one or so a week, and every 3 weeks or so, I will respond to them using a Palmer method hand. And I just did that the other day, and it kind of reminded me like, oh yeah, I still enjoy this. I still have, I haven't really lost much of my skill, which is interesting. I was really happy with my writing, even after not practicing for months, or, not writing for every 3 weeks at a time. And it just kind of made me think like, oh, I should put a video out kind of talking about what's happened, and some of the motivations of why I got into penmanship became really clear to me 4 or 5 months ago, and I want to talk about it. So what happened 5 months ago? The birth of my daughter in late January. It's June now. That kind of changed everything, took a bunch of my free time away, and it made me realize that penmanship was something I did kind of to fill time. It felt like, learning the skill, progressing in a skill, publishing videos on YouTube, making courses, those are things that I feel, they make me feel good about myself. They're things that I should be doing. And when I have nothing to do, I can come up to my studio and make a video, study penmanship, and I feel like I'm doing something right, or I'm doing something that I'm supposed to be doing. Makes me feel better about myself. Cool thing about having a daughter is that, for me, is that I feel that way all the time because I'm taking care of her every day. So in a weird way, I just kind of feel like there's not that hole anymore in my life where I need to fill. Kind of pathetic now that I think about it that way, but it's true. I mean, you're taking care of this little girl, and you feel like at the end of every day, you're like, she's alive, she's healthy, she's doing well, she's fed. You feel like you're doing enough, and I don't have that motivation to go sit down at 11 o'clock at night after she's gone to sleep and write and study, because it's like, I need to rest now. I've done what I'm supposed to do today. So it's interesting, and it just tells me like, yeah, probably the number one reason why I got into penmanship and why I do most things in my life, or why we all do most things in our life, is to feel good about ourselves. And if we don't need to feel good about ourselves anymore because we're getting it in other ways, we'll stop doing those things, because why else would you do them? And that's when someone's a real true artist, when they have to do it no matter what. They create art, they write, they draw, whatever, no matter what's going on in their life, because it's like in their blood, it's in their bones. They have to do it. And penmanship is not that for me. I don't know what that is for me, but it's not penmanship. And it obviously isn't, because I haven't been doing it at all. Even though, the previous 4 or 5 years before the birth of my daughter, I was writing almost every day. I think I just made penmanship that thing that filled that hole for me. The other thing that happened 4 or 5 months ago is I was featured in the Speedball textbook, which was kind of my crowning achievement in penmanship, in my penmanship career, my short career. And again, that just made me realize like, oh, I kind of, a big part of why I got into this is to get attention and to accomplish things, to have achievements, which nothing wrong with any of this, by the way. I'm not condemning myself or condemning any of you that does a hobby or does penmanship for these reasons. It's not about that. It's just seeing the truth of what's going on. And when I achieved that accomplishment of being featured in the Speedball textbook, which you can watch my last video, which is about that, it was kind of like, oh, what else am I gonna do? And it wasn't, honestly, it wasn't as gratifying as I thought it would be when it was published and when I saw myself in the book. It's very cool. I have the book. I sent the book to some close people that I respect in the penmanship world, and it was cool to do that, to sign the book and all that. It was a big ego boost. But at the end of the day, you come down from that high, and it was kind of just like, what am I going to do next? How can I top this? How can I do something bigger? You need that. What's that next fix? And that whole train of thought, that whole line of thinking and approach to something is not sustainable. Even though I was able to do it for 4 or 5 years, that combined with the birth of my daughter and all of these things, it's just like, Dave, you're in this for the wrong reasons primarily. Not to say I don't love penmanship. And from the beginning, I recognized how cool this tradition and the history of American penmanship is. And it's why I focused on American penmanship, because it's just so fascinating to me. And I still want people to learn about it. It's I'm not going to take my websites down. I'm not taking this channel down or anything like that. It's so cool, and I love when people learn about it and they get interested and they want to actually learn the techniques of arm movement writing and traditional American penmanship. It's just so cool. It's so cool to see people preserving this art form, because it is one of the coolest pieces of American art history, I would argue. So yeah, I've just realized this is not my life. Penmanship is not something I'm devoted to, and that's okay. It was something that made me feel good about myself. It feels good to help others. It feels good to be featured in a book. It feels good to sell a course. It feels good to offer a course for free and see people sign up and email you and take it. It's all very cool, but it's, at the end of the day, if you start, whatever that was doing for me, I'm getting that in other places now. And I obviously just don't have that pure love for penmanship. Otherwise, I would keep doing it, even though I'm getting all of those things that it was giving me from somewhere else. So if that makes sense, I'm not disappearing off the face of the earth. Like I said, thepalmermethod.com is still there. consistentcursive.com is still there. If you're taking those courses, you can always reach out to me. I will answer your questions. I will do whatever I can with the time that I have to respond to you. If you write me a letter, I'm still responding to every letter. It might take me a little longer than before, but I do get back to every letter that is sent to me. And I enjoy doing that. I still enjoy writing from time to time. And I still enjoy going on Instagram and seeing you guys post your artwork, your penmanship, whether it's beginners, intermediates, or the best of the best. So you guys will be just fine without me, even though I'll be kind of in the background, still hanging around. If you do love penmanship, keep learning, or if it's filling those holes like it filled for me, that's cool too. If you don't, and you're struggling with it, and you're getting that from somewhere else, then maybe it's time for you to look at it like I have and say, maybe it's time I move on and stop struggling with this just because I think it's something I should be doing. So that's been my message from day one. If you've been watching these videos, I'm not really saying anything new. It's just happening to me now, and it's time for me to step away. So I'm going to do that now. And the next time you see a video here on the channel, it will most certainly be about something not penmanship. So until then, I will see you next time.